Welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there, turn up the microphone. Oh, press and play on the stopwatch. Here we are, another week, another news time. Nope, Constitutionals. That's how I should start out this show, just mixing up the shows. Boy, oh boy, if you're watching the video, you can see that the Green Lantern shirt I'm wearing is very bright. I did white balance the camera ahead of time, but it doesn't look like it took. It's very strange. These I have an old Canon T3, Rebel T3. It's not fancy. It's not special. It's, like I said, it's old. I think it's about 10 at this point. 10 or some chance. 10 or some chance. And it's not good. But for what it lacks in video quality, it makes up for being a camera. And there's the GoPro Hero 3 chugging along. Anyway, the colors don't look too good. I'm always constantly watching. My YouTube history is just tech reviews, two things, tech reviews and video game stuff. Oh, and now it's also cooking videos. That's it. And mostly Bon Appetit. And that's it. That's pretty much it. And that's all I watch. So every time I see a new camera, I'm just always perplexed. And I go, man, these cameras are great. And then you see the price, like the Blackmagic Cinema Pocket 4K camera. That's a camera I want. And it is, I think, $1,400 or $1,200, something like that. And then you got to buy a lens for it because it doesn't come with a lens because it's not a DSLR. It's a cinema camera. And then you got to buy, and then the video screen in the back doesn't articulate, so you got to buy a monitor if you want to. If you're not serious about it, you got to buy a cage to put lights and to put a light, or to put a microphone on top of, or to put the monitor on top of. And then you gotta, it doesn't have in-body stabilization. It just has digital stabilization. So it's all this stuff. Then you gotta buy a speed booster so it can work with, so the lenses can fit on it, so you can put decent lenses on it. This is a clean show when I'm just doing a dirty move. I'm sure that's sign language or something. Hey, let's get started. This past weekend was Labor Day weekend. I was alone. And there was a release of a video game called BLAIR WITCH over there on Xbox and not PlayStation, on the PC. The personal computer is what they call that, PC. And I have Game Pass. I got like the $1 promotion for Game Pass for a month. Game Pass Ultimate. Game Pass is you subscribe to Xbox's Game Pass thing, and that gives you over 100 games that are from either the original Xbox or the 360 or the Xbox One library, and you can play them as long as you have Game Pass. And that's where Xbox is going to be Microsoft is going to be releasing the Xbox originals from henceforth onto Game Pass. So anyway, BLAIR WITCH is an Xbox original, I guess. I don't know. And Xbox originals, or third party games like Metal Gear Solid 5, or I just downloaded Dead Cells. So indie games, AAA games, all these type of things. So anyway, BLAIR WITCH is a video game based on the film that came out in the late 90s. And then there was a sequel, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, that did not do so hot. But this video game is third in line for the series because it still references the first 2 movies. And it came out this past weekend. Truth be told, I did not think it was a good video game, but I linked to the Rad Brad. He's the only person I watch. I don't even watch him regularly. I don't watch him. I haven't watched him all year, basically, essentially. I haven't watched him for like 2 years. But he's the only person I still subscribe to that plays video games for a living online or whatever. I don't know what that's called. But the BLAIR WITCH game, it's fine. It's a game that it does innovate on the horror genre, the simulation horror genre, where you're walking around and you're trying to figure out the story. The story's being introduced to you in bits and pieces, and then there's also monsters that are attacking, and you gotta fight against them. But this is the only horror game where you can fight against them, essentially. So yeah, you got a video camera that can manipulate time, and then you got a dog. I'm sighing because this is not. I mean, So this game came out on Friday, I believe, or Saturday. No, Friday, because that's when it was announced. Like it just came out, and I downloaded it Saturday. And I said, I got a long weekend. I want to be alone. I might as well play it. So so Saturday night I sat down and I did the thing. I'm afraid of horror games. I hate horror games. I love a horror movie. Horror games. There's only two ways to kill me: playing a horror video game, or I can't swim, so throwing me into the deep end of a pool. So, I should not tell my enemies that. You're all my enemies. And this game, Blair Witch, is it's scary. It's very atmospheric, but it's not good. So I'm playing it on Saturday night, and it was very buggy. It was every time I moved, it felt like the game was supposed to move at maybe 30 frames or 60 frames per second, but it wasn't moving that fast. It wasn't moving that smoothly, I should say. It was moving kind of choppily to me, especially the opening part. And then I finally get to a scary part, about an hour later. Yeah, I'd say about an hour later. And it was working, but it wasn't. I'm sorry, I just saw a gnat walking across a bunch of papers I have stacked in this corner over here. It was a giant gnat. Anyway, yeah, so Blair Witch, scary game. People, and then the reviews, I do not follow reviews. But I had to, Monday and Tuesday, I had to see what the reviews were saying about this game, because it's not, to me, not good. I'm not interested, but they're saying it's innovating. One thing I am interested in, though, Monday was the premiere of Steven Universe, the movie, on Cartoon Network. Steven Universe is about a little fat boy who's half alien, half human, half crystal gem, and he fights with these three other crystal gems. Oh, I think it's actually 6 now. A bunch of other crystal gems they're all women. They're all from this space, a planet called Gematoya or some, I don't know. And then they're all lesbians, which is true. That part's true. They're all lesbians, and the fan base will smack you in the face with that fact every single time. You see this? They're lesbians. Anyway, wonderful film. Stars a bunch of famous people. Not a bunch of famous people, just a very good voice cast. It's a time jump forward. It was really fun to see Steven Universe go into the future. And now, so the show was on 6 seasons, and now the show is going to continue on after the movie. Steven's now 16 years old, and he's learned how to control his powers, and all these, he has all these friends, and now some of the gems are living on Earth, and it's amazing. It's a musical. So there's a lot of, Warner Brothers distributed it. So there's a lot of songs. Obviously, that's what a musical is. But one thing I do want to note is that there's a lot of TV shows, a lot of cartoons that came out that are movies. No, a lot of cartoon to TV show movies. A lot of TV shows that Tanner sells in movies, and they're just quite frankly not good, or they feel like not good. I'm not gonna say not good, but they feel like they're just really long episodes of the show. And that argument has been made about South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut, and the Simpsons movie. And I have to disagree with both, because those feel, especially watching this movie, because this movie told a singular story. There was no B story. Which I think is what really helped. And I mean, truth be told, this movie could have been in theaters, and I think it would have done decently. Because I did watch Dragon Ball Super Broly, the new Broly movie. It's on Stars. I watched it, and while it is, I'm gonna say this. Gonna go out and say this. This means nothing to nobody. Dragon Ball Super, the Broly movie, or whatever it's called, is hands down the best Dragon Ball movie to ever come out. It was so good. The fighting was excellent. The voice acting was great. I know one of them is dealing with some sexual assault stuff right now, and I know that the dub cast is dealing with a bunch of slurs that they said in a private recording session. But listen, no matter what happens to them, that movie was fantastic. The first 20 minutes, you saw the story, the new retcon canon of Frieza and his dad, Lord Frieza. I don't know his dad's name, and how Frieza came to rule Planet Vegeta, and then what happened to Planet Vegeta, and then what happened to the U.S. Open semifinals. Oh, Serena's playing tonight. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry this crap up, and all that stuff. So the first 20 minutes is that origin story of Planet Vegeta exploding, and then the last hour is Goku and Vegeta fighting Broly. It's really cool. It's really great. And at the end of the movie, Broly's their friend, but he's also their enemy. I love that. And then so that really kind of ties back to Steven Universe the movie. Both Dragon Ball and in Steven Universe, one thing, and I guess this kind of points to the age of the people who created Steven Universe, and shows like Steven Universe and OKKO and everything that's essentially on Cartoon Network right now and Nickelodeon and Disney right now, is that they grew up with shows like Dragon Ball and other cartoons that really shaped who they are as people. And Steven Universe and Dragon Ball, they become friends with their enemies, which is amazing. You don't have to kill somebody to defeat them. You can be their friend, befriend. Dragon Ball Super Broly was a fantastic movie. What is the name of that movie? Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. It was so good, I thought about watching it. It's called Dragon Ball Super Broly. People loved it. It made money. There's going to be more Dragon Ball Super, obviously. But the one thing I do want to say about that movie is that it felt... This is obviously in the next arc of the Dragon Ball Super, TV show. They're gonna pad that out, the Broly thing, to be part of the next 14, 15, 20 episodes. Anyway, Steven Universe the movie it was just an A story, and it was Steven trying to fix his friends that were turned back into their original selves, and then he's also trying to fix himself, and that was it for 80 minutes, and it did not feel, everything was done in sequence. It felt like a sequence there's a movie that Family Guy did in 2006, I believe. Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story. The only reason I know this because I looked at it today. I looked at the Wikipedia page today, and when that aired, it came out on DVD. It did not air on TV yet. It came out on DVD, and it was about 80 minutes long. Fox aired it on as the season finale for whatever that year when it came out for Family Guy, and it was 60 minutes, an hour long, with commercials. 60 minutes. And but they broke it up into 3 episodes. So whenever you watch Family Guy reruns on Adult Swim, Adult Swim is where you'll see it. Then you'll see, this episode's called Stewie Be Good. This one's something about Stewie. This other one's about something about Stewie, and they're all about Stewie trying to find out who his real father is. But it turns out to be Peter, I think. I don't remember. And that felt like an extended, long episode. Whereas Steven Universe, the movie, we have Steven coming back to Earth after, spending some time with the Diamonds and trying to help them rebuild Homeworld. We have Garnet and Amethyst and Pearl. We're all learning, backstories about them and why they're here on Earth and why they continue to stay on Earth. Everybody did their part. One thing I do want to note is that this pissed me off so much. Chance the Rapper was said to be a part of the movie in the musical process. He co-produced one song, and there's also like 7 other people that co-produced that same song. Don't advertise that Chance the Rapper is a part of it if he's barely a part of it. Truly, you don't see Kanye West did a song. Oh God, what is the song that I'm thinking of? What is the Kanye West song? All of the Lights. And all the people in the background of that song, I think it was like Elton John, All of the Lights. I think it was like Elton John and Mariah Carey. Let me look at before I continue talking with my foot in the mouth. Okay, so it was John Legend, The Dream, Ellie Jackson, Alicia Keys, Fergie, Kid Cudi, Elton John, Drake, and Rihanna. And they did the additional vocals. And no one would know about that unless you looked at the liner notes. I'm just saying, just because you had a chance to rap it doesn't mean you can just use them and stuff like that. Anyway, wonderful film. Steven Universe, the movie. I urge you to check it out. Very, very good. Very, very good. I can't wait. And the music is great too. I spent all of Tuesday listening to the music. I actually watched it at work. Don't worry, I wasn't doing anything at work. There was nothing was in my list to do. And I was watching it, and it was just great to sit there for 80 minutes and just in my browser window, arms crossed, just sitting on my yoga ball, just watching this movie at 8:00 in the morning. I got there early so I could watch it because there's no one in there at 8:00. I don't think. Oh my God, Steven Universe the movie, one for the ages. And the Simpsons movie is good too. Check it out. Listen, we're gonna take a break. And then we'll come back to the last two stories. What? Oh, crap. Oh, my God. That is embarrassing. I tried to press go on the timer, and it didn't. The phone went to sleep immediately. Speaking of phones, listen, I just saw a leak for the Google Pixel 4. And it looks, every year, Google and Samsung and Apple, the rest of them, they release these phones, and they're all iterative on the previous versions of the phones, as well as the market leader, which is iPhone, and the market follow-up, which is Samsung. And then Google's over here. Their Pixel 4 gets rid of the front face. I have a Pixel 2 XL. The Pixel 4 is getting rid of the front-facing speakers on the and on there. It's gonna get rid of the back fingerprint sensor, and this is in favor of Face ID and under the glass fingerprint sensor and downward firing speakers. Google, you don't have to follow the trends, man. Just do your own thing. All right, let's get on with this. This is part 2. This next story comes from NPR, written by Lynn Early. This is Heard On Morning Edition. For many authors, celebrity book clubs are a ticket to success. And this is talking about what is her name? What is her name? Looking for somebody. Nicole Dennis Benz, and she has a book named Patsy. Now, there's a lot of people you might know that have their own book clubs. Oprah has a book club, and then that copycat Reese Witherspoon has one. That copycat. If I got her name right the first time, it would be so funny. Just to torch her. You're torched. And then Jenna Bush Hager also has one on the Today Show. She recently announced her August pick, which was Nicole Dennis Benz's novel Patsy, to excited cheers from her audience. Now, of course, obviously, that when Oprah would do her book club on her show, she would announce a book every month. And same thing, Reese Witherspoon does the same thing. And when that happens, the book sales often jump up, 1,000, 3,000%. It's kind of like Obama released his summer playlist last week. And I saw there's a headline that said streaming and album sales for those songs jumped up hundreds of percent. God, if Obama just tweeted about C+ comedy, can you imagine where I would be right now? Probably have a show on Netflix. He'd probably be producing it because he and Michelle are producers now. It's too soon to have the numbers for Patsy, but Dennis Ben is excited for her book's prospects. It's every writer's dream. I won't lie about that, she says. It's really a dream come true to have this happen, to expose more individuals to the Patsies in our society. Am I saying that right? Yes, Patsy. Okay. Let me get down to the numbers. Oh, here we go. One of the things we are really happy about is when we find a book where the sentiment of the community is I would never have found this on my own, says Sarah Harden. She's the CEO of Reese Witherspoon's production company, Hello Sunshine, and she says Witherspoon's hugely influential book club grew out of the art actress's genuine love of books. The book club launched officially in June 2017, and it now has 1.1 million followers on Instagram. Witherspoon, this is really interesting, has picked 26 books. And according to BookScan, those titles sold almost 700% better than the average. 21 of her picks were fiction, and they accounted for 2% of all fiction sales during that time period. Oh my God. Ooh, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's really interesting. It's very. Whenever you see, I remember I heard a joke several years ago about from a comedian that said, I think it might have been on Difficult People on Hulu, and a character says, "I'm a New York Times bestseller," and then the other character said something along the lines of, "You can just sneeze and anybody could be a New York Times bestseller," something like that. So given you want to have the recognition of the words New York Times bestseller or Oprah's book club pick, because you want to get, if people see that someone that they likes the book, then it's gonna instantly become the greatest thing in the world. It's really cool to see. Too bad it can only happen to so many books per year, because so many books come out every single week, even still. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's the end of the article. Yeah, truly, I don't know why I put this on here. That's because I want to talk about books. I have not read a book in a little while. I was in the middle of The Road, because I've never read that before, and it's on Showtime. The movie's on Showtime, so I want to catch up and read it. I haven't done it. It's been a year. And I also am in the middle of Creativity Inc. It's a book about Pixar, and it was pre-John Lasseter's sexual rampage. Nope. Shouldn't say that. This next thing comes from The Hollywood Reporter, written by Stephen Galloway. How the Middle Fell Out of Hollywood. And this is talking about movie studios, talent agencies, PR firms, everything. Essentially. And I'm going to give you the thesis of this article up front. Either something is a big AAA blockbuster and it's expected to do well. And more than likely it'll do well. Or it's going to be an indie. The middle there's no room for the middle anymore in Hollywood. That's what Hollywood would like to tell you, or that's what the nature of the business would like to tell you. Let's look at let's discuss what the middle is. As if this is the podcast Philosophy Now, where the host brings up an idea by Kant and Aristotle and Socrates. And then he goes, let's discuss what this means. Let's discuss what the Hollywood middle is, everybody. Listen to Philosophy Now. It's an interesting podcast about philosophy. If you're interested in philosophy, go ahead. If you're not, you won't be now. I'll tell you that much. The middle is when it's something that's not a blockbuster and it's something that's not an indie. It has the, and I'm gonna go back to recognition, like the name recognition that a book has when it's under Reese Witherspoon's book club. But it's not gonna be something that everyone's gonna see. Take what's a popular I don't want to say Disney, so I want to stay off of Disney right now. Let's do, what's a popular movie that's out right now? What is a movie that's out right now, period? Let's go to adamtickets.com. I like Adam Tickets. It is owned by The Rock and his ex-wife. Or I'm sorry, they put some money into it. Let's say It Chapter 2. It Chapter 2 is a big blockbuster. And it is a AAA movie, and it's expected to probably make, 500 million, 600 million, 700 million maybe. Not break a billion like the Disney movies, but whatever. Then we have a movie like Ready or Not. Oh my God, that's crazy. That is a middle. That, is it? Because it's not an indie. I would say it's a middle. Let me double check. Because we It doesn't make sense for that movie to be an indie because I think it's too. It is playing at the Midtown Art Cinema, and that is the art theater. But that theater also plays. Not middle. Yeah, it's from Fox Searchlight, so it is a middle. It's a ooh, Jesus, I don't know. It's got Adam Brody in it. I don't know. That's kind of hard, and some air weaving. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I don't know if this is a middle or not. What's the budget? $6 million. It's an indie. Okay, so let's take Ready or Not on my right hand, on one hand, and then we'll take It Chapter 2 on the left hand. It's gonna make gangbusters. Ready or Not is. It's already broke even. I think it's tripled. It's tripled its value, and that's great. But then you have a movie like Tag or Game Night, two of the best comedies of the past 5 years, probably because of the only two comedies that came out in the last 5 years, and they both came out within a month of each other, I think. Stop. Google. Stop. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I saw the Google Home on my desk light up. It might have heard me say okay, and then some form of Google after that. Any hoosers. The middle is I've been trying to define this for so long. I got a dalliance. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Let's see. So anyway, the middle is something like Tag or Game Night. Where it's not expected to do well, or it's not expected to be the best, but they also didn't drop a lot of money on it, so it's not going to be a franchise or anything. Yeah, that's the middle. That's it. That's what the middle is. Boom. I win. Here's from the article. Since the Walt Disney Company began the modern-day charge with its acquisitions of Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and most of Fox, the notion that bigger is better has replaced the once fashionable conceit that small is beautiful, articulated in the best-selling 1973 book of that name by economist E.F. Schumacher. Even today, Schumacher wrote, we are generally told that gigantic organizations... All right, let's skip past this. Okay. He basically talks about gigantism. Now, gigantism is penetrating mid-sized companies and massive ones alike, organizations with only a few hundred staffers as well as mega corporations with thousands. This summer alone, Hasbro snapped up Indie Studio Entertainment One for $4 billion. CBS and Viacom finally agreed to combine, again, to form an entity valued at $31 billion. And United Talent Agency tried but failed to acquire rival Paradigm Talent Agency. Middle ground is receding, giving way to two extremes, the very large and the very small. And what you don't want, and this goes back to my fight against Disney. Disney, please hire me. I will accept any job you give me. But this goes to again to my battle against Disney merging with Fox and having access to Searchlight Pictures, to 20th Century, to the TV stuff, to everything that Fox Broadcasting did not keep. You don't want that. You don't want them just making. Not every movie is going to has to be a tentpole, and that's what they're trying to do. I watched Mortal Engines a couple of weeks ago, and that's a Peter Jackson flick. I think it was a Fox movie too. It was a big flashy movie, and I guarantee it's supposed to set up a dozen other films, but it didn't because it wasn't accepted, and it's not entirely amazing or good. Okay. Okay. So among some of the reasons why there are big companies combining forces, in addition to obvious cost savings in human resources, accounting, field offices, and so on, are the ability to combine complementary divisions, providing a one-stop shop for clients and the opportunity to strengthen global offices, especially when date openings around the world make it imperative to have multiple people in multiple places. You need boots on the ground, says one of the people. Macroeconomic factors are also at play in the current state of mid-level mergers. Among them, the lower corporate tax rates ushered in with the December 2017 passage of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, and a flood of private equity cash that's entered the market. People are looking for alternative investments at a time when interest rates are low. I don't know what the heck this has to do with the. I don't know what this has to do with their movies there or anything. Mergers and acquisitions throughout America have been heading upward since 1985. Oh my God, stop talking about movies. Anyway, you don't want mergers to happen. I mean, they can happen, but they're going to be taken away from both the medium-sized guy and the smaller guy, but mostly the medium-sized guy who can't afford to stay afloat. That's the middle. Who can't afford to stay afloat in a world full of big guys. Small ones. Let's look at Annapurna. Annapurna Pictures, that I talked about last week, is an indie outlet. Or Plan B Pictures, yes, by Brad Pitt, which is the subject of this week's News Time, or one of the subjects, by Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, Brad Gray, and some other people. Even though they're producing great work, Annapurna is putting out Moonlight, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Kick-Ass, and so many other great movies, great small movies, but just because they're doing that, they're getting award recognition. It doesn't exactly translate to dollars. Now, Annapurna this week, I think just 2 days ago, managed to get $200 more in funding. So they're going to be operating for a little bit longer. But we have something like MoviePass, which failed because it was getting too big. It wasn't able to sustain itself. Whereas Annapurna was able to. Annapurna was able to get another line of credit. MoviePass wasn't. MoviePass exhausted everything. And the writing was on the wall since day one. So we have small outlets like Annapurna going against Disney. And then we have small channels, IFC, going against ABC. Well, IFC is owned by AMC, so, whatever. I guess it doesn't really translate to television. But you get the gist. The gist is there. The gist. If you got the gist, you must have quit. Yeah. There you have it. That's the Constitutionals. Boy, oh boy, this It Chapter 2 is going to be something. The director said he wants to do a big old mega feature, put both the It's together, and then also shoot some extra scenes. And so it's going to be like a 6-hour affair instead of two 2-hour movies or something like that. That's cool. I think that's really cool. I also saw an article today that said Midsummer, which was the indie horror hit of the summer, psychological horror hit of the summer, that was already like 2 hours long. There's a 4-hour cut. 3-hour or 4-hour? I think it's like a 3-hour cut that's coming to theaters. I think it's already in theaters, but it's going to be an Apple TV exclusive when it releases on digital, which sucks. I don't think I thought we've gotten past that. I thought we've gotten past this whole exclusive ordeal. I should be able to buy a movie on Vudu, and it should live on iTunes, and it should live, or whatever iTunes, Apple Movies, whatever the heck that's turning into. It should live on Google Play. It should live on, Amazon. The 4 main ones. That's what it should live on. It's unfair. It should live on as movies anywhere. I should be able to watch it. But I can't. I'm never going to be able to see that unless I go to the theater. And I'm not going to be able to because I got to go to a wedding this weekend and I got to work. I think that's it. I think we're done. Oh, also, Brad Pitt let it go that Quentin Tarantino wants to do another miniseries, but out of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, if you look on Netflix, the Hateful Eight was turned into a 4-hour miniseries. So he wants to do that with the cutting room floor version of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is a fine film that I like. These things shouldn't be exclusive. Midsummer should be available everywhere. The Hateful Eight Extended should be available everywhere, but it's not. And I'm just mad. Anyway, I should get off this Ready or Not Wikipedia page because I don't want to be spoiled. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head on over to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where we've got a new interview going up, I believe, tomorrow. Or by the time you listen to this, it should be up. It's comedian Jeff Dye. I've spoken to him before. This is the second time I've spoken to him. It's actually an email interview, so I didn't speak to him this time. Jeff Dye is in a movie called The Last Messiah. I believe that's what it's called. I will not check. I will check because this is actually part of my job. Messiah. Oop, I spelled Messiah wrong. Oh my God. It's the thing that popped up at Google was the last mass shooting. Jesus Christ almighty. Nope. It is not called The Last Messiah. It's a good thing that I looked it up. Jeff Dye, comedian. Let's go to his Wikipedia page. Let's scroll down. It is not there. Let's go to his IMDb page. I promise I will hang up at the end of this. This is embarrassing. It is called Half New Year, where he plays the Messiah. So I was half right. Half New Year. It's a movie. I've only seen the trailer. I have not had a chance. I do have the screener. I should watch it. I've not had a chance to. But he plays a drug dealer who might have a little bit of magic. So definitely check it out. I asked him some questions about that, and as well as Better Late Than Never. That's my Reverend Lovejoy. It's not good. And then you can also head, if you want to see a video version of this podcast, head on over to the website, youtube.com/C+comedy, and you can see just me and my pretty GoPro'd face. It's all right. It's fine. And then what else? Oh, also on youtube.com/C+comedy, it's news time. I already gave you a hint as to what this week's episode is about. It's a weekly news show. Investigative news show, I guess that's what you would call it. And I take a look at one topic in the entertainment community. This week's episode is celebrity-owned businesses that aren't involved with their acting. Check it out. And that's it. Oh, yeah, the podcast. Listen to it, subscribe to it, tell your friends. Rate it on iTunes, because apparently that's how things get done now. Rate it on iTunes. Give me some reviews. And that's it. Okay. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Bye.